Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a special and different video for you all. We're going to be teaching you how to make it look like you know everything about biking. Maybe you're not such a confident rider and you want to sort of big yourself up to all the pros that are down at your local. This is exactly how you can achieve that. Let's get into it. So, step one to making it look like you know exactly what you're doing down at your local is to get the correct helmet on. If you're riding an enduro bike or a trail bike, all mountain bike, whatever you want to call it, you have to get yourself a helmet much like this one. So make sure that you've got this helmet and you'll fit in perfectly. If you're wearing one of those piss pot helmets that people wear for jump bike contests, or if you're riding a BMX, you're going to look slightly out of place. And if you go full face maniac mode, then you're also going to look slightly out of place because it's going to look like you're sort of over protecting yourself, let's say. Not that that's a bad thing, but if you want to look like you're a pro, get one of these. Yeah mate, it was well sick. I was riding with like fair cloth and all that. Oh, are you checking out my shorts? Yeah, wow, so you've already noticed step number 2 of how to look like a boss in your local trails. Getting yourself a pair of trail riding shorts. These things are super baggy, as you can see. They're longer than knee length, so you can wear your pads underneath. Just stuff like that really. It's got the nice material, like a little bit waterproof, and it just looks really steezy. You know, we've got the pure black legs, you know, we've got a bit of green at the bottom here, we've got a nice logo on the side, and you just see all the pros really using these sort of shorts when they're riding. Everyone's got these shorts on, so you got to make sure you go and get yourself a pair. They're not too expensive, it won't break the bank, so I'd highly suggest that you go out and purchase yourself a pair now. Step number 3, the correct bike. This is very essential. So we've got the local trails, we've got the bike. Let's talk about what the proper bike is for what type of trails. Because I'm in the full trail gear and the trail bike, let's start with that sort of riding. When you've got lines like this that are sort of slightly downhill, you know, you've got the turns, a few gap jumps, maybe some rooty sections, but you know, it's not necessarily pure downhill. That's when you're going to want one of these bikes, especially for in the UK where there's not really many uplifts. You know, you can grab yourself an e-bike like this, bomb it back up the hill once you've finished your lap, then come smashing back down and you'll look so cool. Now before you start crying about me saying that you need an e-bike, I didn't say you need one, it just would benefit you, you know, getting up the hill a lot quicker than everyone else. If you're so worried and against e-bikes, then obviously use your normal enduro bike and then you can smash laps down trails like this and you'll look so cool if you followed the previous steps as well. So what's the wrong bike? Well, imagine someone coming down here with a jump bike, or let's even say a brakeless BMX. That's just ridiculous. Smashing around these corners, thinking they're cool, and then coming up to ridiculously tight berms with absolutely no brakes, going at least 30 miles an hour. You can't really see that being suitable or looking like you know anything about what you're doing. Obviously, if you've got a nice set of flowy dirt jumps and that's all that the zone you're at is, then obviously bring your dirt jump bike because you'll look the part there. You can get away with using a downhill bike just slightly. It can seem a bit silly sometimes, especially if you're fully geared in your downhill stuff and you're at one of these sort of smaller UK bike parks where the trails aren't really too big or too sort of steep. You might end up looking a little bit silly if you're, you know, going full out in all of your downhill gear. But if you want to look like, you know, a professional, you're going to want to give the sort of impression that you like just sort of chill, you know, you don't really take it too seriously with ridiculous gear and stuff like that. So the next step, get yourself a really sick bike related t-shirt, quite like this Kaifo one that I'm wearing right now. That was quite a bit of a shameless plug there, wasn't it? But anyway, no, seriously though, on a serious note, I wouldn't ride for these guys if these t-shirts weren't cool. I mean, check out the designs on this t-shirt. It's super sick, and I just thought this would be a good opportunity to sort of mention it and just use this as an example, because when you're down at the trails, everyone's sort of in the mindset of biking. In football, sort of anyone can play it, you know? Like, you don't really have to be into football that much to really play it. Mountain biking's one of them sports that not anyone's going to want to come whizzing down a trail doing massive gap jumps and smashing berms at 30, so you know that really anyone that's there is going to be into it. So sort of join in with that vibe, you know, get yourself a sick riding related t-shirt that's got some sick sort of logos on it, maybe just something funny written on it that's to do with biking. I've seen a lot of cool biking t-shirts, you know, with jokey stuff on it, or like the eat, sleep, ride, repeat bike t-shirts like that. You might be thinking, well, why don't I just wear my race t-shirt? But again, like I said, when you're sort of down at the trails and you're just having a chilled out lap, it can kind of sometimes look a bit arrogant, you know, if you're wearing your race t-shirt down for like a chilled out session at the local. I'm not saying that everyone that wears race t-shirts is arrogant. It's kind of hard to explain it without making anyone that wears one sound like a knob. You're not. I'm just saying, you know, wear your sort of chilled out clothing, but you know, bit bike related, like I've been saying. You look like a proper boss. So yeah, epic. Let's move on to the next one. Whoa, just hopped into a new dimension. That was pretty crazy. Might try doing that a lot more often. Anyway, the next step is something that you will have seen a lot of people do, and you might know it as one of the sort of unwritten rules of mountain biking, and that is that if you're wearing your trail shorts, knees and no shin pads is one of the things that you should really be doing if you want to look cool. This isn't the best thing to do for safety wise, because obviously my shins are completely bare, and as you might even be able to see, there's a plethora of different sort of engravements of where my pedal has hit my shin. But obviously, because I'm a complete Burke, I like to sacrifice sort of safety for how cool I look. If you want to look cool like I do all the time, but you don't care about safety whatsoever, this is the rule that you need to sort of stick to and live by. It sort of just looks like, it just connotes that you know what you're doing. Someone that isn't fully padded up just sort of screams, I can ride a bike, unless literally have no idea what you're doing and you're wearing no gear whatsoever. Obviously, I recommend you wear shin pads if you're a bit newer to the sport or you're a bit scared of the trails. I do wear shin pads when I don't know the track that I'm riding too well, and I also put on ankle braces. Yeah, there's a gnat eating my leg. So good. I actually can't even feel it, which is quite weird. I might just let this one have some blood. See? Off he goes. Anyway, yeah, you always see the pros or the good people with these loadouts. I hate to sort of stereotype and maybe make you guys feel bad if you wear shin pads with your shorts, but obviously, as you hopefully know by now, this video is slightly a bit of a joke. In all honesty though, you do see a lot of people riding like this, and let's all admit it does look pretty cool compared to someone that's got every possible bit of protection on that they could possibly wear. Obviously that guy's going to be way safer when he goes over the bars at 30 down the big rooty section, but at the end of the day, if you want to look cool, go ahead. Let's move on. Right, next step, we're going to be talking about stickers. People I know and see often love to sort of sticker bomb the hell out of the helmet to the point where you actually can't see the initial colour of what the helmet even was. It's a bit much sometimes. In my opinion, if I just take mine off, when you've got a helmet that's kind of like this, you know, there's not too many logos actually on the helmet, you know, it's just the brand of the helmet and then a couple of my brother's sponsors on the side, which is pretty cool. When you've got a few stickers on there, it kind of makes you look pro and like maybe you're sponsored by the brands. If you're going for the full out, you know, not telling anyone who you are but making it look like you know everything, then just put a few stickers of some main brands on that you know sponsor the sport, but just don't overdo it and you'll end up looking like, you know, you've been in the sport for ages. You don't need to slap all stickers all over your helmet. You just look like a complete boss. Come on, autofocus. Focus onto me because I need to do a video next to this tree. So worn out, I've been shredding like a pro all day because of these tips. The final tip, well, try not to itch your gnat bites for a start. The next part is a little bit more sort of psychological, and we're going to be using some reverse psychology to sort of trick your enemies into thinking that you're better than you are. What I like to do, which is sometimes quite funny, when you do like a massive jump, then everyone comes over and you're like, oh my god, you're so good and stuff like that. You know, you've probably seen it happen, or maybe it's even happened to you, and then you get bombarded with about 1,000 questions about whether you can backflip or do you want to do a big tail whip on this jump over here? What we like to do is you sort of just make out you're really crap. Tell them that that jump was the first time you ever done it and that you started riding last week or something, and I don't know, just sort of say that the best trick you can do is like a one-hander, and then like do a really crap bunny hop and like act like you thought it was good and stuff like that. Basically put yourself down, because then when you smash the trails, even if you're not amazing, it's going to look like you're really good, especially if you've said, I don't know how you do it, but you know, and then you're smashing these massive ones, doing big blasts around corners and stuff like that. It'll just make you look a little bit cooler. Yeah, that's actually it for all the tips I can think of that will make you look cooler on the trails. If I missed anything important that you think I should have maybe mentioned, please let me know in the comment section below. And as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
I just wanna have some fun.